Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between two rolling green hills, there lived a very quiet and observant girl named Mira. Little thinkers, the village was a peaceful place, but Mira saw things differently than everyone else. While other children played in the streets, running and laughing, Mira spent her days watching. But she wasn't watching their faces or listening to their words. She was watching their shadows. She found them far more interesting. You see, Mira had discovered a secret. She noticed that when someone did something from the heart, their shadow would change. It was a language of light that only she could understand. Every shadow told a hidden story. Take the village baker, for example. He was a kind man. One morning, Mira watched as he gave extra loaves of bread to a hungry traveler. "Here, friend," he said. "The road is long and you need your strength." As the baker turned back to his oven, Mira saw it. His shadow began to glow with a beautiful golden warmth. It wasn't grey anymore. It was like sunshine caught on the wall. Mira had never seen anything so radiant. Then there was the old widow who lived down the lane. Every evening she would sit on her porch and sing lullabies to the neighborhood children, children who weren't even her own family, yet she loved them just the same. As she sang, Mira watched her shadow. It shimmered and flickers like a warm candle flame in a gentle breeze. It was soft, peaceful, and filled the air with a sense of safety and belonging. It was a shadow of pure comfort. But Mira also saw shadows that weren't so bright. On market day, she watched a wealthy merchant cheat a poor farmer. "Fair price," the merchant claimed with a fake smile, while his fingers secretly tipped the scale. Mira felt a shiver run down her spine. The merchant's shadow had turned sharp and jagged, like broken glass scattered on the earth. It was cold, dark, and felt very lonely. It was a shadow of a heart that had forgotten how to give. That night, Mira told her mother about the shadows. Her mother listened with wonder and said, "You have a gift, child. Most see the world with their eyes, but you see it with your heart. The world needs eyes like yours." Mira's mother's belief became a seed in her mind. That night, under the silver moon, Mira had an idea. What if she could collect these glowing shadows? Not to keep them forever, but just to hold a little bit of that kindness. The next day, she went back to the bakery. When the baker shared his bread, Mira quietly scooped a tiny fragment of his golden shadow into her jar. "Just a little piece," she whispered. "Thank you, baker." The jar began to glow. She did the same at the widow's cottage, catching a flicker of that candlelight shadow. Slowly and carefully, she began to gather pieces of kindness from all over the village, making sure never to take too much. Weeks passed, and Mira's windowsill became a constellation of tiny stars. She had jars filled with a mother's kiss, a teacher's patience, and a neighbor's smile. Mira went to sleep every night in a room filled with kindness. Ravi was Mira's only friend. He didn't see the shadows, but he saw Mira. He was the only one who didn't think she was strange. "Mira," he whispered one day, "can I see them? The jars of light." When Ravi saw the jars, his eyes grew wide. "It's like starlight in a bottle," he exclaimed. Ravi didn't quite understand the gift, but he believed in Mira. And sometimes, little thinkers, being believed in is the greatest light of all. But then, a shadow of a different kind fell over the land. A terrible drought began. Day after day, the sun beat down, but no rain fell. The river shrank to a trickle, and the village wells began to run dry. The farmers watched their crops turn brown and wither. The animals panted in the shade. Everyone was worried. "If the rain doesn't come soon," they whispered, "we will lose everything we have worked for." As the water disappeared, something else started to vanish too. Kindness. Neighbors began to argue over every drop. Old friends stopped speaking to each other. Fear was making everyone's heart feel hard and cold. Mira watched from a distance, her heart heavy. She looked at their shadows and saw they had turned a dull, lifeless gray. There was no gold, no candlelight, just a dark emptiness. The light of the village was going out. One evening, Mira found little Leela crying by the path. She was lost and scared. Mira didn't hesitate. She took Leela's hand and walked her through the darkening village until they found Leela's frantic mother. As Leela's mother wept with relief, Mira felt a tiny spark inside her. She didn't collect a shadow that night. She made one. Her very own shadow glowed, just a little, reflecting the kindness she had just shared. The village elder, Amma, had been watching. "I see you, child," Amma said in a voice like cracked honey. "You carry a rare gift. But look at our village. It is losing its light. When kindness dies, everything else dies with it." "What can I do, Amma?" Mira asked, her voice trembling. Amma simply pointed to the village and said, "What you have always done, Mira. Share the light." Amma knew that the answer was already inside Mira's heart. Then came the darkest night of all. The oil for the lanterns had finally run out. Families sat in total darkness, cold and afraid. The silence was broken only by the sound of children crying and the wind howling through the hills. Mira looked at her jars. They were so beautiful, so warm. "I collected them for myself," she whispered. "But they were never really mine, were they?" She realized that holding on to kindness while the world suffered was not kindness at all. "No more hiding," she said, her voice growing strong. She knew what she had to do. The shadows weren't meant to be kept in glass. They were meant to be set free. Mira stepped out into the dark village carrying her light. One by one, Mira placed her jars along the paths and in the doorways. She left a bit of the baker's gold here, a bit of the widow's candlelight there. Slowly, the darkness began to retreat, replaced by a soft, magical glow. The villagers came outside, drawn by the beautiful light. It was like honey spreading through the streets. In that soft glow, they stopped seeing each other as rivals and remembered they were neighbors. The ice in their hearts began to melt. The arguing stopped. Someone started a fire, and everyone brought what little they had left to share. By midnight, the whole village was gathered together, laughing and sharing stories for the first time in months. The darkness was truly gone. Mira's mother found her and whispered, "Look, Mira, look at your shadow." Mira looked down and gasped. Her own shadow was the brightest of all, far more radiant than any she had ever collected. She had given everything away, and in return, she had become the light. Mira taught the village a lesson they would never forget. Kindness is not something you keep, it is something you pass on. And when you give it away, you don't have less, you become so much more. Be the shadow that glows, little thinkers. Until next time, keep your eyes open for the kindness around you. Maybe one day your shadow will glow too. Goodbye for now, and remember, your heart is your greatest light. The end. Whoa, that was beautiful. I'm not crying, you're crying. Mira shared her light, and you can share this story too. See that red button? It's like a little jar of kindness. Click it to subscribe and ring the glow bell. Ding! Now you'll never miss another story adventure. We have tales about courage, kindness, and maybe even cookies. See you next time, friends. And remember, your shadow glows when you share your heart. Bye-bye.